My name is Jocelyn Norton, and I attend the Phoenix Citadel. I'm a first-generation Salvationist. Well, the first time I heard about God was when I was swimming in the Red Sea with my father. He told me the story about Moses, and I didn't know anything about God or Moses, but I believed him because he was my dad, and I believed everything my dad said. So after that, I continued going to church with my grandmother, and I grew up in a Baptist church, and that's how I became a Christian. For many years, I struggled with drug and alcohol addiction, and I put myself in many dangerous situations with men, abusive, and finally, after one horrific event, this person that I was with was taken to prison, and I was hopeless, and I didn't have anywhere to go, and I was actually looking for a domestic violence shelter. But I found the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Program, and I checked myself in, and since that day, my life has changed. I was given the opportunity to encourage others, and I was also given the opportunity to become the Assistant Resident Manager for the Women's ARC, and that allowed me to help the women and get involved in volunteering and working with the women and ministering to them, and so that helps me give back. I chose the Salvation Army to be my home church because of the love that was shown to me, and they also taught me that the power that raised Christ from the dead is the power that lives inside of me. So that is what gives me the strength to make good decisions today. The Salvation Army is an awesome program, and it has changed my life completely. And I believe it works as a program better than any other rehabilitation program because of Christ and because it is a Christian program. So give your life to Christ and surrender all the troubles that you have and give your life to the Lord, and your life will be amazing.
Hello, I'm Nick Paisanka. I'm a senior soldier at the Las Vegas Citadel Corps. Many years ago, in childhood, addictive behavior started to occur in my life. I started lying to get things I wanted, make my family look better, make myself look better, and I had very few consequences. I started drinking at a very young age, probably about 13 or 14 years old, and that led to basically a lifelong drinking habit that resulted in a 40-something-year-old binge drinker that partied on the weekends and still managed to function in daily life. But things started getting worse toward my mid-40s, where those binges were lasting longer. They were going into the work week. They were starting to affect my job, starting to affect my life, starting to affect my health. And then in 2011, I was introduced to crystal meth, which took a strong hold on me right from the very beginning. Alcohol started to fade away, and work was getting missed. I was using on the weekends, but that would start again creeping into my work week. I had burned most of my bridges. My family wasn't speaking to me. My friends didn't care. I did have one friend, however, that said, you need help, and she recommended the Salvation Army. One of my first meetings with the chaplain at the Denver ARC, he made a comment. He asked if I was a Roman Catholic, and I said, yes, I am. And he's like, well, with a name like Nicholas Jude Paisanka, you could be nothing else. and he asked me if I ever prayed to God, and I said, well, yes. And I told him about praying to St. Jude and to the Virgin Mary and my Our Fathers and Glory Bees and praying the Rosary. He said, do you ever just talk to God? And I said, no. And at that point, he took my hand and he taught me how to pray. I actually became an adherent in the Salvation Army in April of 2014. And then my lieutenants that were the administrators at the ARC when I was there got moved to Las Vegas. And they called me up and they said, hey, you looking for a job? I said, yes, I am. And they said, we have this assistant resident manager position open. We think you'd be a great fit. and we'd like you to come. And I prayed about it that weekend. I talked to my sponsor, and I talked to the chaplain and my counselor and everything, and totally outside my realm, but I jumped and I did it. Got on the next plane to Las Vegas, and I've been here for about 1.5 years. It's really helped in my own personal recovery. It's strengthened my walk with God, and it's just been an amazing experience. Full of challenges, full of tears, full of a lot of emotion, but it's been a wonderful experience for me. Last year I became a soldier in the Salvation Army, and I served at the Las Vegas Citadel Corps, and then at the Las Vegas ARC as well.
Hi, I'm Charlene Boileau, and I attend the Salvation Army in Mesa Citadel in Mesa, Arizona. My parents were Salvation Army officers, and I'm just really thrilled about that because they were wonderful mentors to me. And I grew up going to the Corps, attending all the different things that you normally do as you grow up, like sunbeams and guards, and I learned to play an instrument, learned to play the ukulele, learned to dance hula, do all kinds of wonderful things because this was in Hawaii. So I grew up learning about God as a child, and that was just a great and wonderful thing, I thought, at that time. I also have 2 brothers that are serving the Lord in the Salvation Army. They are here in the Western Territory, and I'm just very proud of them because they are truly doing God's work and they are servants of God. So that's kind of my background, how I've come to the Salvation Army. I spent a few years out of the Salvation Army, and when I did come back, actually I attended a youth consuls. And you hear wonderful stories about youth consuls and how it changes people's lives. Well, truly, it changed my life when I did attend the youth consuls. I was a little older, I was in my early 20s, but that was just a transforming time when God spoke to me and God said, you know what, you're on the wrong path, Charlene, so it's maybe time that you come and follow me. And that was a very, very sweet thing because that's when things turned around. I really wanted to read the Bible. I wanted to pick up all these Christian books, and I just continue to do so and continue to live for Christ. Salvation Army is my life. I really believe that this is a great vehicle that the Lord has placed on this earth, because you're reaching people, you're touching lives, and I really believe that the Great Commission is to go out and tell people about Jesus Christ. And we can do that by being a part of the Salvation Army.
My name is Robert Hale. I'm from Roswell, New Mexico. I was born October 8th, 1978 in Abilene, Texas. I grew up in an alcoholic family. Alcohol was everywhere, and I'm sure many people can relate to this. Above the refrigerator in the cabinet was a full assortment of different types of alcohol. The entire cabinet was full, always. The men in my family drank every single day, every day. That's just how it was. When I started drinking, I was accepted by the men in my family. So I was accepted by the men at work because I was deep in an alcohol addiction and further on deep into a drug addiction. I didn't make a very good drug addict. I got caught pretty quickly. And I went to jail for a while. I was let out. I was put on probation. I received 5 years of probation, and what I like to share with everybody is that I was so good at probation, they turned it into 7 years. Yeah. I absconded, meaning I stopped checking in. I hid from my probation officer and ended up doing 8 months in jail because eventually they'll catch up with you. I am so grateful for that time in jail, for that quiet time with the Lord. In jail is where I learned how to pray. It's where I learned how to let go of our material things here on earth. I had almost absconded again after leaving jail because I didn't want to go to Albuquerque. I didn't want to go to another rehab. I had spent, as I said, 8 months looking at cinder block walls. I wanted to be free. I wanted to run around and continue doing all of that negative, all of that self-destructive behavior that I was used to doing. That's what I wanted. But something made me go. Something made me get on a bus and ride it to Albuquerque, which is uncomfortable because it goes to Amarillo first and then cuts back to Albuquerque. But I made it. I made it to the Albuquerque ARP a little after midnight, 3 days after I was let out of jail. 3 months into the program, we had the opportunity to attend men's camp in Heber, Arizona. That was the first time I had ever been to a men's camp. And I remember standing in the chapel there at men's camp. And we had roughly 200 guys all singing the same song, maybe not all in tune, but something in my heart flipped. Something changed. I changed. And I opened the door and I let God in. That is where my life truly changed. I had been learning up until that point. I had been finding things out that I never knew about. But it was right there in that chapel where my life changed, my heart changed. And I truly let God in to continue working His change, His transformation through me.